Hello and welcome. My name is Reverend Jeffrey Russell, and I'm presenting to you your first YouTube edition of Devotion for Today, dated the 17th of January, the year 2008. My text today is Psalm 37, verses 1 through 8. Author Richard Horn recently wrote a bestseller entitled 101 Things to Do Before You Die. All in all, it's a very good read from the standpoint of reaching out and enjoying your life before it races to the end. Doing things such as learning to fly a plane, going on a demonstration, meeting your idol, milking a cow, swimming with the sharks. Horn encourages journaling, and he does so to measure one's progress and to record the impressions of the experiences that are attempted or made. He also points out the majority of people fritter their lives away aimlessly, accomplishing very little that is worthwhile outside of working and raising a family. Meanwhile, the experiences of life are neglected, to say nothing of working to make life meaningful. I have to say that I agree with Horn. And while his book is not based upon a spiritual perspective necessarily, there are biblical principles that are contained in it, boiling them down to this one premise: trust in the Lord and do good. Psalm 37 is a beautiful passage which outlines what is essential and what is not. In the passage that's given, there are not 101 things to do, but rather only 5 things which will bring about priority, focus, and calm in the course of your day if they are acted upon. I'd like to give them to you in the course of Scripture. First of all, he says, fret not. Do not fret because of evil men, or be envious of those who do wrong. Worrying about people who do wrong, or that they're getting ahead of those who do the right thing, they're not really worth worrying about, because it is out of our control, and God is the author and giver of all justice. At the beginning of the day, we must remind ourselves of this, because at the end of the day, the tables are often turned. Secondly, he says, trust in the Lord and do good. This is in verse 3, and it's taken together with verse 4, which says, delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Faith is incomplete without action. Trusting in God does not just mean believing in him, but doing something meaningful as an expression of that trust. If you are trusting in the Lord, then do something consistent with his nature and his will, as found in Scripture, of course. Then thirdly, the word is commit. In verses 5 and 6, he says, commit your way to the Lord, trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteousness shine like the dawn, the justice of your cause like the noonday sun. This goes beyond doing, because many times our actions run into roadblocks and obstacles, and sometimes those roadblocks and obstacles are put there by the devil. It takes persistence and it takes commitment ahead of time to get the job done while trusting in the Lord the whole time. When things are difficult, when study is harder than when we first thought, or when the job is much more tedious than we expected, or when the task is more arduous than anticipated, that is the time to think back to what we have committed to, even if others are running away and we are the only ones left. Fourthly, he says, be still. In verse 7, he writes, be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when men succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. And again, the second admonition, not to fret, with this counter command is this: be still. Freaking out is not what's called for here, because panic only adds to more confusion. Worrying will not put it right, but being still causes us to focus upon God and what he desires to say to us in the midst of the problem that does not make us happy. And then fifthly, he says, refrain from anger in verse 8. When things don't go your way, or when a decision is made that you are not happy about, hold back from saying what you might regret later. He says, refrain from anger and turn from wrath. Do not fret. It only leads to evil. I know what many people say. I couldn't help it. I just got mad. But turning from wrath is a deliberate, conscious choice. We are not responsible for the actions of others, but we are responsible for our actions and for our reactions. When we flare in anger, we only make the confusion and the misunderstanding bitter, not better. I have given you 5 things to consider here this morning, and I'd like for you to apply them as biblical principles as you set about your day. At the end of it, do not be surprised that as hard as you work, that indeed God delights to give you the desires of your heart. What 5 things have you got to do today? This is Jeffrey Russell leaving you and telling you, have a blessed day.